some of you may have not have. I haven't really talked about it or shared it on my own personal social media, except on accident. But I have a new podcast. I started a new podcast called the Oracle Podcast with my buddy Blake, and that's super fun. We're talking about the Percy Jackson series. Actually, I have the book right here because I was reading it a little bit before I was getting this set up. But today's podcast is gonna kind of be just a kind of a catch up stream, talk about what happened over the off season, and kind of go into what this season of the off season podcast is going to be about. But before I get too far into it, be sure to like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, and be sure to give us a rating if you're watching anywhere else. I really appreciate you guys taking time to listen in and watch. It's really so much fun having such a fun audience, and I'm excited to get back and get to talking to some of you guys again. Without further ado, let's get into talking about it. So, this breeding season, let's start with that. It was very busy, very, very busy. We kind of had some staff change ups right at the beginning. We had one of our vets who I work with get stepped on by a stud like the second week of breeding season. So he was out for a couple months because of that. And then we had someone who does my kind of same job. She quit like in the middle of February. So right when we're getting really busy, she decided to quit. So that was nice. And so breeding season was kind of hectic up and down there for a little while, but then we got some new half staff hired on, and they are awesome. Shout out to Summer. She's so cool and so awesome and so fun to work with and so fun to be around. And it's just super fun having her on. But we're kind of wrapping up the season now. We're still doing a little bit of breeding work, but not much. We're really on the tail end. We had like 4 flushes this last week, and besides that, we kind of have been really slowed down. Breeding season this year taught me a lot of things. I learned a bunch of new stuff, and I learned that once again learned that this is the only thing that I want to do for the rest of my life. I love repro work. I love equine breeding work. It's so cool and very rewarding because like this is my second year working at the same place. And so I'm getting to see a bunch of the mares who we bred last year see their babies this year and start to see some of the fruits of my labor. So that's really cool. Some of the horses that I personally bred last year are on the ground. So that's really cool. It's kind of like not an immediate gratification, but pretty immediate. Like you do the work, and then a week or 2 weeks later, you get to see the results. It's pretty dang quick to get to see the results of your hard work and your labor, because it is a lot of work. I mean, I worked 7 days a week basically from February until like the middle of May, and then I was still working 13 out of 14 days a week, and these weren't short days either. Like I was working 86 hours a week or something like that. It was a lot. It was a lot of work, but it was all worth it. I mean, getting to see all those babies and getting to see the moms come back and helping the clients to get their new babies on the ground, it was awesome. Me and my fiance bred a mare. Oh yeah, I got engaged. That's exciting. That was kind of the big personal life thing that's gone on. Yeah, that was incredibly cool. I engaged to my fiance Bailey. So that was so cool. That was right around Easter. So me and one of her friends, who's a photographer, we kind of collaborated and made it really special for her. And we did the whole thing. We had like a big giant egg, and we put the ring inside of it. And Amy was hiding out taking pictures the whole time. So it's super cool. Let's see what else happened. I had some bad, I don't know. I had a couple of friends pass away over the over breeding season, so that was tough. I don't really want to talk about that, so I'm not going to. This is fun. This is about fun stuff. Let's see, what else have I been up to? I've watched a lot of. I didn't watch a lot of TV like during the breeding season itself, but since then I kind of have been like the new season of The Bear came out and we watched that and it's so good. The Bear is so good. The new season, especially, I really like the Bears episode where they're all at the wedding. I love weddings. Like weddings are one of my most favorite things in the entire world. And I kind of relate to the Bears autos where like our family's not as quite as dysfunctional as the Bears, but we have a big family and there's a lot of personality there. So being at a family function, even if it's not quite a wedding, is kind of like that. And the scene where they're all sitting under the table is just not only pure like comedic gold, but also like therapeutic. Like Carmi and Claire actually getting to like be close to each other and see each other, and I don't know, it's you just want it to work out for these guys. And after what is it, 3 seasons of like it's spiraling downhill and downhill and downhill, it finally seems like it, despite a literal time, like a clock ticking down and literally every second counting, which has kind of been the theme up to this point, that hey, we're running out of time, like we're on borrowed time. And at this point it's made visual. What's been kind of lurking in the background is that every second counts. Now there's a literal clock running out of their parachute and the time is running out, and when every second counts, you get to kind of see, okay, well, like the restaurant may be slowly failing, but like there are all these positive things going on. Like Carmi finally talks to his mom and she seems to be doing better, and Carmi and Bear are talking to each other, and like there are all these positive things happening, even if the bear is struggling, and like the sandwich shop is going off and it's doing really well. So it was, I don't know, if you haven't watched The Bear, massive spoilers for The Bear. I guess I should have said that beforehand, but too late now. Bear is so good and I highly recommend that you watch it. Some other things that we watched over the off season or over the breeding season was uh, Captain America. The new Captain America was terrible. It was really bad. I did not like it. It was probably, yeah, it's probably my least favorite Marvel movie I've ever seen. They just, I don't know. They took the parts of Captain America or the Sam and Bucky show, Captain America or Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and they took the worst parts of that show and they incorporated and blew it up into a huge movie that it was not good. The action was lackluster. The story was okay. Like I don't know. I don't know if I just don't like the some of the characters were really compelling, like the older Captain America, the Black Captain America, who I cannot remember his name. He was very compelling. Like that is a very compelling storyline that I really like, and the story of Bucky in Congress is very compelling, and like some of the other stories, again, very compelling stories. But the way that they decided to make the plot happen was just like they could have had such a cool comparison between the uh, Hulk guy who, and again, I'm sorry that I can't remember these guys' names, but that's how much it disinterested me. But they could have had such a cool comparison between him and the Black Captain America, where like it was comparing and contrasting how the U.S. government had done all these terrible things to them, and this was the fault of the U.S. government. But instead, it kind of just went nowhere with that. Like it kind of went nowhere with the fact that the U.S. government had done terrible things to these two characters who are very like sympathetic characters, but it kind of just did nothing with that, and it was really kind of a bummer. And the plot was predictable at best and sloppy at worst, so it's just not that fun. But then the Thunderbolts came out, and that was an amazing, like one of the better Marvel movies that I've seen. I would say the best Marvel movie that I've seen since Endgame. Probably the best thing that Marvel has put out since Endgame. And this is before seeing Fantastic Four. But I'm really excited for that. Yeah, Thunderbolts, the new Avengers, spoilers. The new Avengers is so good. The the part at the end where they're like, that they're trying to figure out how to work the telecom like system, and they're like struggling to do that. And they're like, this is why we're the Avengers with the Z is so funny. It made me laugh the whole way out of the theater. But the reveal of the Fantastic Four coming into the MCU, like the actual universe, is so cool. So tying it all back into the big timeline is cool. Super excited to see Fantastic Four when it comes out. We went and watched the new Jurassic World movie. That was really good. The dinosaurs were cool. The story was good. There was family. There was mercenaries. It was your classic Jurassic Park movie, but it was really good. I mean, I liked it pretty well. I'm sure that it's pretty standard fare for people who like have seen a lot of Jurassic Park movies. But honestly, that I don't think the story is always what we're coming to for the Jurassic Park movies. I think that the dinosaurs are what we're coming there for, and the dinosaurs were sweet, and it was pretty cool. There were mutant dinosaurs, which was kind of a new, interesting twist, I guess. That was kind of interesting. Let's see. We're getting married in October, so that's exciting. That's kind of the thing that we've been working on now that we're getting back into the swing of like having other things going on besides just work, is building towards getting married in October. So that's exciting. I read a lot. I read so much over the breeding season. Well, mostly I really just um, spent a lot of time like listening to audiobooks. I listened to I listened to a lot of Brandon Sanderson. So I listened to like the whole first era of Mistborn, and then I listened to the all the way up through Oathbringer in Stormlight, and I listened to like some of the other standalone, like I listened to Elantris, and I listened to what's the one with the biochroma? I can't remember what that one was called, but Warbreaker, yeah, Warbreaker, and like some of the other standalone novels and stuff. So they were, I mean, the his kind of style of writing where he like his world building is incredible, but also like his characters are unbelievably compelling. Because let's talk about Mistborn first. So Mistborn is, spoilers for the Mistborn saga. Let's start there. That Mistborn Era 1, I haven't read the other Mistborn eras, but Mistborn Era 1 is about this world that has been ravaged by this force. I, long story. The long story long, because it's fun. Uh, so basically, they're in the Cosmere, which is all of the books that Brandon Sanderson writes. They're all connected in this huge shared universe, and this universe had one central god, one all-powerful creation god. But at some point in the past, these 12 beings came together and killed this one god, and they all became shards. And they went on to either inhabit or create worlds of their own. And these worlds where one of these shards were living or were took up residence or created a new world were called shard worlds. And one of the worlds is the world of Mistborn. And the two shards who live in the era of Mistborn or in the world of Mistborn, are preservation and ruin. So they are kind of opposing shards, which is, I wonder why they came to coincide in the same area or how they decided to live in the same area, but we don't necessarily know that. All we know is that they came to inhabit this same world. And because of their inhabiting this world, there's a lot of magic in this world. There are multiple magic systems in this world. There is feruchemy, which is kind of the balance between the two. So there is it's basically using metal, and like all of these magic systems in this world revolve around metal and the control of metal and the use of metal. So like uh ferrochemy is using like metal rings or metal necklaces or metal bracers to store attributes about yourself in them, and it basically allows you to store up like eyesight or like strength or like age or whatever, like a size, like whatever you want to store up in these rings or bracers or gauntlets or necklaces, you can store up in them, and use that at a later date. Like, but you have to become like, if you want to store up strength, you have to be incredibly weak for a period of time if you want to store up strength. Or if you want to have good eyesight later, like even better eyesight, then you have to be poor sighted for a little while. So that's kind of how that works. There's also hemalurgy, which is the basically I'll explain the other one first, which is allomancy. So allomancy, basically, you consume certain types of metal, and they allow you to perform superhuman acts. So this part actually destroys the metal, but like you consume the metal and you use it, but it allows you to do these inhuman things. Like if you consume pewter, you become superhumanly strong and agile. If you consume tin, you be able, like your senses are all enhanced. If you consume like steel, you're able to move metal like away from yourself or towards yourself. If you like, there are all these different things that you can do with it. And hemalurgy is when basically you use like metal spikes and you pierce, or someone pierces your body with them, and they become. You're fine, Bailey. Stacy, quit whining. Stacy, quit. Anyway, they pierce your body with the spikes, and you're able to. This grants you the powers of the ferrochemy or the allomancy, either way. And so it basically lets you have these powers, but at the cost of either your, well, one, your body, but also you have to basically you're stealing those powers from someone who already had those powers. So whether it was a allomancer or a ferrochemist, you have to kill that person in order to get those powers. You don't necessarily need to kill them, but you need to hurt them or stab them with the same spike, basically, and then it is always weaker. So allomancy is of the of preservation, and ferrochemy, or excuse me, hemalurgy is of ruin. So it's this whole thing. But anyway, it's about these slaves who eventually gain these abilities and rise up against their ruler. But it turns out that the ruler, the Lord ruler, the God King of this world, was actually holding back the tide of ruin, and in overthrowing him, and then the events that occur from that, they subsequently release ruin into the world because he was imprisoned by preservation. And so it is this whole thing, but it ends up that one of the main characters, Vin, has to sacrifice herself basically, and she eventually sacrifices herself to defeat ruin, and both the powers of ruin and preservation are taken up by this other main character, Sazed, and he becomes the god Harmony. So it's this whole long convoluted thing to basically bring harmony to this world that had been previously torn apart. And it's this fun, intricate story. I highly recommend that you read it if you haven't already. It's so good. And then the other series, the Stormlight Archive, is about this other world that has 3 shards on it. So it's very potent. It has a lot of magic systems. And it's basically the story of this kingdom and this world, Roshar, that is ravaged by storm systems. And so that has shaped a lot of the society. But it's also houses these great magic systems that are controlled by Stormlight and by um, like the power of these incredibly powerful like blades and armor, and like it's this really cool like feudal society that is powered off of these crazy strong relics from another time, and it's about religion, and it's about invasion, and it's about occupying other worlds, and it's this whole thing, and it's really good as well. So I highly recommend the Stormlight Archive as well. Those kind of became my obsession there for a little while. I listened to a lot of them, and they deal with things that interest me a lot, like religion and uh, the like feudal order and society and that sort of thing. So I found them incredibly interesting and very fun reads, and very fun to dive into and get really interested in, because I had never read them. I had always heard about them, but I had never read either the Stormlight Archives or Mistborn. And so getting into them was incredibly cool and incredibly insightful to look. It helps to recontextualize things from my life. I think that it puts into another incredible story about magic and about fantasy and about religion and about all this stuff that is, again, just so interesting. Um, it's super fun. So I might do full deep dives on those at some point if you guys would be interested in that. But yeah, this was kind of just a little like catch up thing to tell you what I've been doing and what I've been interested in and what I've been learning about and doing and thinking about. So it's kind of all I had for today. Thank you guys so much for listening. Be sure to subscribe. Like, we'll be doing more like artist interviews and that sort of thing once I get kind of rolling again, once I get back into the groove of things. But I kind of just wanted to get an episode out and let you guys know that more episodes were going to be coming before I start uploading more of the regular content that's on here. But I just kind of wanted to get one out of the way, get rolling again, and let you guys know that more episodes will be coming in the very short future. I'm going to try and stick to one a week. I'm doing one a week of the Oracle podcast too. So that's kind of, I'm going to try and do these on Sundays and do the Oracle podcast on Fridays. So be sure to check this out. Be sure to check out the Oracle podcast and everywhere that you see social media. Thank you so much for listening. Please be sure to like and subscribe, like I said at the beginning of the episode, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.